So many games come out every week, it's almost impossible to keep up with unless it's your full-time job. Well, here at Game Conclave, we've got your back. We scour the web for all the info we can find on upcoming releases, and today we've got another batch of 8 new games coming out in January to let you know all about. I am VBerg, and as always, welcome to Game Conclave. As I mentioned, we've got 7 more titles to dive into for our 6th video on the new games of January. Disorder is an upcoming action RPG roguelike. As it's made by Grumpy, a small indie Korean studio, people are probably going to compare this one to Stellar Blade, but I would expect it was probably in development before that came out. The game is centered around playing as a woman who has lost her memories, wakes up in a shopping mall she needs to escape from, armed with a katana. It looks very much like a flashy character action game, mixed with roguelike elements. You get to choose what kind of buffs you get and stuff when you clear out zones. When we were researching this one, there was a demo available, and we did notice some frame rate drops and stiff animations. Hopefully they got some of that patched out when the game goes live. If it's still present, only you can determine how much that kind of stuff bothers you. Disorder will be hitting the PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on January 21st. Alright, next up we got Jotunslayer Hordes of Hel. Yeah, that name is that name is totally metal. Like seriously, that would 100% look at home on one of my heavy metal Spotify playlists. Jotunslayer is very much a Vampire Survivors-like. Is that the term we're using? No, I don't know. But it's one of these survivor-type action games inspired by Vampire Survivors, only it is set in a Nordic, hellish setting. Sort of like Vampire Survivors meets Diablo. This one is being made by Games Farm and Artillery, who have both previously made cutesy adventure puzzle games, so the aesthetic and tonal shifts here might give their fans a bit of a whiplash. But you'll pick from several different characters, each with their own unique skills, fighting off nigh endless waves of enemies, take on challenging quests, and unlock new perks as you fight off the Hordes of Hell. This one will be launching into early access on PC on January 21st. Dance of Cards is coming out on the Switch and Xbox, and this is a card-based poker RPG. So we're seeing lots of weird blends of card games lately, interspersed with various other genres, and I love it. I was already a fan of cards in RPGs and like various roguelikes like Slay the Spire and Baten Kaitos, and now we have Balatro, and now this Dance of Cards. It's almost like a meta level, like the game is the cards and the cards are the game. Anyway, this is made by Good Morning Mr. Frog, whose previous title was a turn-based RPG called Of Blades and Tales. In Dance of Cards, you'll board a ship for the New World, only to become trapped in a deadly game of cards. You'll play other passengers in poker to determine whose life is forfeited next. Cheat and bluff your way to victory, and survive for 7 days in turn-based tactical poker combat. This little indie RPG, it just looks fun. The whole premise sounds really interesting. I might have to check this one out. It'll be hitting the Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and X on January 23rd. Alright, this one is kind of awesome for at least 3 reasons. It's the 25th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles, which means it's getting a remaster. And secondly, the physical copies carry a ludicrous price tag, so this will probably drop those. And thirdly, they've added in new characters, including Jar Jar Binks, which I think is further evidence that he is in fact a Sith Lord, and was secretly controlling the events of the prequel trilogy. If you're not familiar with Jedi Power Battles, this came out back in the year 2000 on the Sega Dreamcast and PlayStation 1. It's an action game that incorporates platforming and beat-em-up elements. You play through a sort of rendition of Episode 1's plot. There's several characters that are unlockable and have been new ones added into this remastered version. The different characters have different playstyles, slightly different power sets and skills. It's had really fun co-op back in the day, and I'm excited to see that it will continue to have local co-op. Me and my wife are definitely going to play through this one. It's going to hit the Switch, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X on January 23rd. Sword of the Necromancer Resurrection is being made by Grimorio of the Games. I don't know why I said it like that. It's a full-fledged 3D remake of their original roguelike action RPG, Sword of the Necromancer, and it will feature fully revamped graphics, combat, and summoning systems. Once more, you'll be playing as Tama the Rogue, tasked with protecting Coco the Priestess, only to fail. Tama then takes her body to the Necromancer's crypt, said to hold the power to resurrect the dead. You will utilize the Sword of the Necromancer to force your fallen foes to do your bidding as you delve deeper and deeper into the crypt. The game will feature a tactics system where you can prioritize your summon's actions. It will also feature procedurally generated dungeons, ensuring every playthrough is different than the one that came before. There is also a roguelike mode to offer you even more challenges. You can also tackle the game in a local co-op mode with a friend, though in the original it was only available after defeating the first boss. We weren't sure if there are requirements to unlocking co-op this time around, so we did want to mention that. This one will be launching on the PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on January 23rd. Alright, so now we've got Robodunk, made by Jolly Punch, whose previous title is a wacky-looking 2D fighter called Fly Punch Boom. As for Robodunk, their newest title, I have got to read this description directly from the developer to you. Our game is NBA Jam meets Rogue Legacy with robots. And yeah, I mean, that's that's exactly what it is. And it's kind of awesome. If you ever thought you needed more NBA Jam in your life, and instead of Barkley, Bird, Johnson, and Jordan tearing up the lanes, you wanted robots to smash and destroy each other, well, now you've got that option. Yeah, it's a roguelike where every match is different. You'll unlock permanent buffs, level up your bots, and apparently discover the lore of the gods and why life is built around dunk. In a full single-player or co-op game, whenever I see something bizarre like this, I'm just totally taken back to the 6th and 7th generation, where there was just so much weird experimental stuff going on, and I love it. This one already came out on Steam and Switch back in 2023. It'll be now hitting the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S and X on January 21st. Needy Streamer Overload is developed by Zemono. They previously worked on an adventure game called Ultra Mushroom. Needy Streamer Overload is a psychological horror visual novel wrapped up in a pretty pink bow. If you're familiar with the Doki Doki Literature Club game, I'm guessing you'll probably find something pretty similar here. I still haven't played Doki Doki Literature Club. I picked it up because I heard it was one of those just really weird and strange titles you had to experience. This looks like another one of those. You'll be playing as P-chan, who interacts with Ame, also known by her streaming alias OMG Kawaii Angel. You will give her daily commentary and guidance to help out her streaming career, helping her become a super popular mega streamer. And in her downtime, you can help her manage her stress by going out on dates. And no, this is not a porn game. I understand why someone might assume it is based on the imagery and description, but the developers insist that it is not one. So I'm going to take them at their word. So if you've ever been looking for a cutesy, kawaii streamer girl to, I don't know, manipulate and see what she does with her life after your terrible influence, then Needy Streamer Overload might be a game for you. It's going to be coming out on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on January 21st. It already came out on Switch and PC back in 2022, and there is a sequel actually going to be dropping on PC soon. We will be covering that in another video on upcoming new releases in the near future. And lastly, we've got Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist. We've covered this one previously in our new RPGs of January video. If you're interested in more RPGs that came or are coming out this month, make sure to check it out. This is a sequel to Ender Lily's Quietus of the Nights, a very underrated title. This game has two developers, AdGlobe and Livewire. Livewire has worked on some other games independently of AdGlobe that are shoot 'em ups, and AdGlobe independently has worked on Redemption Reapers, which is a strategy RPG. So again, this series kind of appears to be an interesting mashup of two studios that do two very different things coming together, finding common ground in between those two wheelhouses to make a nice blend of genres, and I gotta say, I think that's just super cool. The Ender Lilies games are Metroidvania action RPGs with a really interesting mechanic in that you don't actually do the fighting with your character. Instead, they're a little summoner who summons ghosts and homunculi to fight on their behalf. You'll be playing as Lilac and a tuner who awakes deep in an underground laboratory. You'll set off in search of your lost memories in the land of fumes. If you're looking to explore a dark and poignant fantasy world or something to scratch that Castlevania itch, this one will finally be leaving early access on January 22nd and releasing on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, Switch, and PC. Let us know in the comments if you're going to be picking any of these titles up or giving their early access a go. Give us a like and don't forget to subscribe, it'll really help us grow. And we're always covering a ton of new releases you don't want to miss. And as always, from all of us here at Game Conclave, thank you for watching.